So this is my presentation. My thesis is, are teens more prone to bullying because of peer pressure, and is this causing suicide rates in teens to rise? Social issue. The definition of a social issue is a problem within a society that can keep a society from functioning properly. And I said there are technically two social issues in my thesis, and that's bullying, and the big one would be suicide. Social psychology application. In the class, we learn about peer pressure, and we also learn that children bully in groups because they want to fit in. This occurrence doesn't just stop with children and can be in teen and adult world. In the teen and adult world. This is mainly spoken peer pressure, negative peer pressure, and indirect peer pressure. Spoken peer pressure is when you want to ask when someone you want to impress asks, implies, or persuades you into doing a certain action. This can be a family member, it could be someone of a higher class in high school, it could be a teacher, just anybody that you look up to asking you or implying that you should do such an action. Like an example would be like, hey, you should, like your friend tells you you should go take Tyler's lunchbox, or like in the movies where it's like you should go take so and so's um dry clothes out of the locker when you know that they have to switch back into those after gym, something like that, some sort of asking, persuading them to do a certain action. Negative peer pressure is when the peer pressure being put on someone has a negative effect on them or others. So, negative peer pressure can be seen as, trying to persuade someone into sleeping with you, into doing drugs with you, you know, anything that could be harmful to you, or, you know, having someone help you bully someone, having you help someone steal something from the store. Um, just anything kind of seen as morally wrong could be seen as a negative peer pressure. Indirect peer pressure is when you see a large group of people doing something, you're more likely to believe that what they're doing is okay. So like if you have a large group of kids at your school and they're picking on someone, you're more likely to believe that the person they're picking on deserved it, or that they must have the reason for doing it, or it must be okay because no one's stopping them. There's there's a lot of indirect peer pressure even in the adult workforce and adult world, because the more larger groups are seen as, even if they're doing something wrong, they're more seen as doing something okay or right, just because they have a large following of people, when actually it's just a large collection of peer pressure going on. This is part 2. Now, seeing those peer pressures explained, we see that teens are more likely to fall into those pressures to just simply fit in. This causes them to bully others even if they don't want to. Megan Meir Foundation.org states that high school students who experience bullying are 2 times more likely to attempt suicide. And they also said half the kids who reported bullying someone said that they did it because their friends thought it was funny. They didn't actually mean to hurt the person, which means that a lot of these people don't mean to hurt the people that they're bullying. Well, some do, obviously, but a lot of the people that are falling into this peer pressure just want to fit in, don't want to be the person being bullied. They do what, even if they don't think it's right, they do what's wrong just so they can avoid all the consequences on them. Um, this proves that peer pressure from our friends cause us to do things like cyberbullying, like a friend telling you you should sext with a girl and show them the pictures or spread the pictures around. This makes you say, you can spread rumors online, or even just straight harassment, like posting pictures of them on your social media, posting and saying mean things, just constant like picking on somebody. And the more physical bullying, like throwing people's stuff away, hitting them, taking their stuff, or yelling and telling them mean things to their face. Solutions: teach teens that there are certain laws against harassment that can ruin their chances of getting certain jobs, can land them in juvie, or can overall affect their life, because people will always kind of look at you different if you have that on your record, or you can look at yourself different too. I mean, a lot of kids are afraid of getting in trouble in high school and stuff like that, but like colleges even won't want to accept certain people like that in there if they have bullying charges or harassment charges, because that doesn't look good on the school. It could happen at the school and they don't want to deal with that drama. It's just it's good to stay away from doing stuff like that so you don't have to go and deal with those consequences. Um Teachers have to start analyzing situations and stop kids from bullying in class or on campus. I have met a lot of teachers that have told me that they haven't stopped certain bullying situations because they thought that the kids were just messing around, or they were friends, or kids will be kids, they're just picking on each other. And I mean, teachers have to really start, and people, just adults in general, need to start analyzing situations and being like, maybe this is affecting the kid. I should ask just in case, because it's important to know what's going on at all times and not just assume something, because assuming can lead to the worst. Teach kids who are being bullied it's not their fault and there's nothing wrong with them. You have to start teaching kids that are going through bullying, like, not just like to them, but like when you do those anti-bullying campaigns, even when you do those, the kids that are being bullied realize more that they're not alone, and that these kids really do just have the kids that are bullying them really do have some kind of psychological issue, or have issues within themselves that are causing them to bully others. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with that kid in specific. They just became a target because either they thought they were easy or something, but there's nothing wrong with them. And a lot of these people just have issues of their own going on and like to take it out on other people. I believe if certain groups of kids are known for bullying, schools should be able to ask them to go to another school or separate their lunches and classes. So, like I was telling you with the indirect peer pressure, when there is a large group, people tend to see it as more okay and just want to avoid it because there is such a large group of people doing it. I think if they get caught bullying someone, or teachers see it, they should be able to split those kids up either into different schools depending on how bad they're bullying someone. But if it's not as bad and it's like the first like time it happened, or like a few times it's happened, they should separate those kids' lunches and classes, so then they're less likely to be able to bully, that person in a large group. And so there's more of a chance for someone standing up for them. There's more of a chance of you seeing like the bullying going on. It's just more of a chance for the kid to get help who's being bullied. And I think we should have more adults in the hallways during lunches, passing periods, and after school to catch these incidents. This is because I've noticed when I was in high school, a lot of the bullying would happen during passing period or at lunch, or even just like after school in the front courtyard, and there were just never teachers or adults around. So they would just always get away with it. And I mean, if we put, you know, teachers or adults that aren't really doing anything, or maybe just hire certain adults just to like watch people, I think it would help a lot. We just have to teach kids that we can't fall into peer pressure, and that peer pressure really isn't just, you know, sex and drugs and alcohol. It can come in all forms, like you falling into teasing someone just because your friend's doing it and stuff like that. Conclusion. We live in a society where our children and teens fall into peer pressure for more than just drugs, sex, and alcohol and sex. We need to make sure we teach them that bullying others to fit in is just as wrong and can lead to suicide. We need to stop this cycle so we can save young lives before it's too late. See, this is really important to me because I have met a lot of people who have committed suicide based off of bullying. And I know the people that also did it. And I know a lot of them are not bad people. A lot of them just hung out with the wrong people and fell into this peer pressure cycle that led them to following what other people said. And I mean, it's a terrible thing to do, but I feel like if they were taught maybe at a younger age, because I even know when I was in elementary school that the teachers would be like, "Oh, it's okay. They're just teasing each other. It's just fun." We need to stop doing that and just being like, you can't pick on other people. It's wrong, you know. Instead of you just got to be a little tougher in those situations. And this is the citation page.